Ire were were ni taocho. Ire were were. Ire were were ni taocho.
Hello and welcome to Conversations with Mother Earth, brought to you by Grounded Press. My name is Dana Petrovic, and each week my guests and I explore one aspect of Mother Earth and the gifts that she gives us. We also discuss why these gifts are so precious and why we should value them. I got you curious? Good. We love curiosity. Let's begin. We are in 2022. And I want to take the opportunity, dear listeners, to wish you a very happy, successful, and most of all, a very healthy new year. Please continue to take care. And today, we are dedicating our time to a very special topic. If I mention Michelangelo's David to you, the listeners, chances are that you will have this image in your mind. A statue of a young, handsome male that is well known worldwide beyond Florence, Italy. However, have you ever considered the work that went into creating this masterpiece? Or Michelangelo's inspiration, patience, and even obsession that was required to make this work reflecting the artist's vision. In today's episode, you can hear it firsthand about the artistic vision, as my guest is Khalil Chishtee, an artist currently based in New York and who grew up in Pakistan. Khalil is an internationally acclaimed artist whose art revolves around questioning the norms and notions of living life in diverse cultures. Khalil, a very warm welcome to Conversations with Mother Earth.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you and Happy New Year to all of your listeners. And thank you very much for having me here.
Oh,
I would love to have this conversation.
Very pleased to hear that. Khalil, it's funny because the way I found you through my own research. I teach circular economy, the concept that keeps natural resources in circulation as long as possible. And your work does exactly this, as you astonishingly use plastic bags to create sculptures. What motivates you to use waste to create your art?
For me, I grew up in Pakistan and I grew up in a family who's sort of, who were not interested in acquiring stuff. So the family I grew up in with the parents and the siblings who were interested in living life instead of living a prosperous life. So the idea was, when you grew up with a limited resources, then the focus of the whole family is not to discard anything. So one has to look on the reuse of everything. Like, for instance, when we were, as a kid, when we were reading newspaper. So instead of throwing the newspaper out or giving it to, we just will make something out of it. So we will make a book cover out of it, a book covering or a small envelopes or, something out of it. And then the old clothes and, whatever is around you. So, for me, I grew up with that idea. Like for me, the idea was like throwing anything out of your house it seems like a disgrace to stop.
Yes.
So because one has to value everything. So this was the idea. This is my training and this is my introduction to life that was given to me. Because my father was poet, so he was interested in teaching. Passing on your own your own ideas instead of giving you a lavish life. So that was his thing. So I guess because of that, me and all of my siblings were interested, on not discarding anything.
Yeah, it's interesting. We also used a newspaper to create a book cover to keep the books, protect the books for longer.
Yeah, exactly. And when I started drawing, so I always, when I started drawing and painting in a very early age. Even before going to school, I started making drawings. So and I would draw on a plain sheet of paper, but I would also draw with the ink on the newspaper, like newspaper. So it was really beautiful to see that the text is emerging from the image and the image is emerging out of text. So there was really, something that it was really, other than the drawing, the idea of not, like I am utilizing one thing, turning into another,
Yes.
So that's transformation was really, really, very, very, very fruitful, seems like it was really, a great fruitful activity for, at that time.
Yeah. It's funny how our childhood shapes us, and also our career choices later on in life, or how it's early to be seen which direction we will develop. Khalil, are there other materials that you use in your work, and what do you try to express with them?
For instance, like I use discarded material a lot, but with the plastic work that I do, I use plastic bags. I don't use plastic sheets, right?
Okay.
So I don't use any bags. Although it depends on the content of my work. Sometimes I use grocery bags, but most of the time I use trash bag, because the whole idea started when I moved here to US, and I saw like people are throwing garbage in a plastic bag. So it was such a strange experience for me. It's a beautiful bag. You just open it up and you throw all the garbage and then throw in the dumpster. And for me, the idea started, other than the recycling, the idea started that why can't I put my people throw garbage in the bag? Why can't I put my finest emotions in the same bag?
Mm-hmm.
So can I elevate the status of the material? And when I started working on it, and it was I guess that material gave so much respect to my feelings and my emotions that it really blew me away.
That's interesting.
So, yeah, so that was really, really, because when I make stuff, when I work in plastic bags, I don't use any armature. So it's just a thing which has no structure, which cannot stand on its own. So when I started working on it, I tie knots, and then I try to shape it. And one time I was in Azerbaijan, and I was working on a big piece, and one of my American artists was there. He watched me from a distance for a couple of hours, and then he came to me and he said, "You literally make things out of nothing, right?" So I thought that's really that's what I feel when I make things, because in the space there is nothing. I suspend one bag with the another bag and with the another bag, and I try to make something, and then the moment I started thinking about something else, then the form disappeared. It again turned into a material. So it's so interesting that it needs so every sculpture, every work needs your fully attention, like a new relationship. You have to engage fully with your new relationship. If you take for granted even for a minute, then the moment is gone, right? So that is, so the whole experience of it is so beautiful. Every time I feel the same excitement when I'm working on one thing, no matter how many times I do that, because it needs the same care and same I guess focus.
Yeah, that's fascinating. What motivated you to become a sculptor in the first place, Khalil?
Sculpture, I like I said, I was into painting and drawing, from the day one. I but somehow, sculpture was, something which occupies space the way I do. So I'm a very social person. Like, as a kid, I would really, would love to hang out with my friends. But every time at the end of, whenever I come back to my house, I always come back with some kind of a bad feeling, like, why did I say that? Why, I always would recall, things, because I was an artist and they used to call me, you are very sensitive and you just be happy or be excited or be mad at a really tiny things, and kids don't care kind of stuff. So I had that feeling that, I love to be among friends, but why your friends has to break your heart, they have to hurt you, the kind of it's not hurt, not in a serious way, like like you have a bad you have, one has some kind of a regret that why did I go there, why did I even, so that the idea of making sculpture was really, have like my studios full of my friends. I'm among people, I call them my people. So so I can, it's so, because usually they are, they are of my size, so I can hug them, I can dance with them, so I can, and they are they are not, they don't have an armature, so they are, they give me company.
Yes, yes.
So that is the one reason that making sculpture. And the other is the dealing with the space is so magical, in itself, because when you interact with the space, you create, even you suspend a string in the space, and then that space interact with and even with the string, if you start looking at the string takes you to the other space around it, and that space can take you out of this planet, right? So sculpture is something very, very, it's a very cliche word, but I still will like to use it. It has some spirituality in it. It takes you beyond, all these things.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
It's not a cliche in my world, Khalil. It's we talk about that in a different episode. When we talk about dance, you just reminded me, episode 4, and that it's something cosmic in it, and it's what you described, that you shape space, that we connect. We connect with the world through art. I mean, at least I do when I see sculptures. So I guess for you, it's even more intensive, because you are the creator of them.
Yeah, I think I don't. Okay, being for me, it's a very loaded word. If I don't, like, if I call myself a creator, at times when I'm doing work, it seems like I happen to be there, right? I just happen to be there. Whatever is into making, it has to be made, So it's just a thing that I am there to witness it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that because for us writers, the book arrives. And my job is to write fast enough to bring it to the paper because it's right there. I see them. I see my characters literally inside my head. So how can I get these images fast enough onto the paper?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Khalil, you mentioned in one interview that you always work with something which resonates with your primary point of view about life. Do you mind sharing with us what that primary point of life is for you?
That over the years it changed a lot. Like I don't want to die as a person who was born, like I not the born, I think that the interaction with I love people, right? I have said that. I've already said that.
Me too.
Love.
Me too.
But then everyone put some kind of a coat on me, right? Some kind of a layer on me. So, and then when they leave, I strengthen that layer. And after some time, I realized I can recognize the presence of the layer that has been coated on me. So then my job is to remove those layers, right? And not with the hate, not with the, it's just very, with all of the love, because I'm not saying that you did that to me. No, it's not that. It's like we did that to me, right? Me and like whoever I'm interacted with, like, my parents, my siblings, my friends, my, everybody around me, shopkeeper, whoever I interact with, we create some kind of thing that ends up, sort of sticking to me. And then I very politely, without damaging my skin, I have to acknowledge it, which takes time. And then I need to remove it. So for me, like that's why every other day I see another layer and I feel like, I can breathe now. And then there's another layer, and then I can breathe better now. So it's like it changes over the time. And I guess my point of view was about everything it's in the same direction. It started becoming more and more refined, I guess. I mean, refined is again a strange word. I mean, I'm not good with using words, because words are, they can sort of, refined seems like, I'm just trying to say that I'm somebody. No, I'm not saying that. It's like, I'm closer to myself. I feel closer to my real, whatever that is, whatever that idea that is, that refresh me. So that, I guess, I'm trying to sort of, like understand those conditionings in a simple word.
Yes.
And try to, be a person again.
Yeah. Human being. Yes, exactly. Yeah, the conditioning, how did traveling affect that, and changing, going from one culture to the other? How did that, I guess, helped a lot?
I love that. I love sitting on the airports. I love watching people. I want to travel a lot. And that airport, especially in a transition, when you're waiting for another flight, and then you see, like, people, they don't really They are not in their own countries, right? So it seems like everybody relates to each other, you know. So to me, that experience is so amazing. You can talk to anyone. People are open, and I see, a lot of connection over there, like not the connecting flights, but the connection, person to person connection. And I love that experience. I love it.
Yeah, we are somehow all lost, and we're all out of our comfort zone, and in between the worlds. Yes, it's so true. That's so true. Khalil, supposedly Michelangelo is credited with the quote, "I saw an angel in the marble and set it free." And actually, it was one of your angels that made me think of this quote in the first place. I saw one of your images. Would you agree with this quote when you create your sculptures, and how do you set your sculptures free?
Oh, I cannot. It's for me, it's such a tall statement. I am nobody. Like, I cannot set anything free.
Okay.
My work is setting me free.
Oh, that's interesting. That's the other way around.
Yeah, my work is setting me free. Is again, I don't know what like few things get stuck. I was, a long time back, I read in a book, a carpenter is saying, the guy is talking about the carpenter, and carpenter is saying that when I make a chair with all of my love, and when the chair is finished, and I'm looking at the chair, and chair is telling me my stories about my life. So I really think that the sculpture, the art, the work that I make it for my understanding, to become a better person, that who I was yesterday. My work is keep on making me a better person, So whenever I'm not working in my studio, whenever there's a gap, I really don't like myself, Seems like I'm a different person, who thinks that I am somebody, right? So when you make it's such a humbling experience. Your work brings you back to life. And life is not the elevated life where you are larger than life. The life where who you are.
Yeah. Brings the essence out of you, the essence of, yeah.
So I guess that's the beautiful thing about the artist. It's not me. Honestly, as a young man, I would go to, most of my favorite artist studios, and they were really, and I got the opportunity of assisting a couple of artists in Pakistan, and I noticed with everyone, whenever I am with them in their studio and they are working on their pieces, they are the beautiful people. They are the best. I could see a real person there. So whenever I meet them outside the studio or in school or somewhere else, so that's a different person, who's carrying a name, or some persona or some image of oneself, or but that. So it was really strange that every time I felt the same. I got the same feeling with every different artist, that this is a different person who's right now there working in the studio.
That's very interesting, and that you mentioned about the other person, because you talked about layers earlier. So in a sense, you work to remove the layers, but when we go out, we actually put different layers up, or we put a mask up, so we show a different version of ourselves, a different identity, when we are not working with art.
I, I think I understand exactly what you're saying, and I was doing that for many years, and now I try not to be scared of anyone, right? I try to be myself. Be myself doesn't mean that I'm saying to someone I don't like you. It's not like it's be myself means like I respect people, but I like people. I respect them. I'm not scared of them,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
And I don't want them to be scared of me. So it's very interesting because imagine, I was born and raised in Pakistan, and when I moved to California in 2002, you can imagine a guy with a dark beard,
Yes. Yeah.
long hair
Yeah.
from Pakistan in San Francisco. So whenever I would try to fly, I'm flying out of the San Francisco to go somewhere to my show. So I am in a I'm in a waiting. We are going through the gates, and then we are talking to each other. And then suddenly, when I reach to that gate, the moment they look at my green passport, they will immediately ask me to step out of the line and will make me stand in a glass room, like clear cabin, where so that the protocol was like, they have to find someone who will really, try to go through each of my side, like who I am, and I'm from Pakistan, and whether I'm carrying anything or not. I mean, what kind of person I'm. So they were, you can imagine that time.
Oh, I can
So
imagine that very well.
yeah,
Because experienced something similar 10 years before with the Yugoslavian passport. So I can imagine that very, very, very well.
so it was really interesting. So the first time when it happened to me, I was very, like, I was literally embarrassed because everyone, like, before, the people who were talking to me, they were not even look at me. They thought, oh, like they think that I'm a bad guy, right?
Yes.
And then and then when suddenly I realized why I'm taking it so personal. It's not my insult. They are doing it. And then what happened, the officer will come to when officer came to me, and he was very apologetic, right? And I immediately told him, don't say sorry. I told that guy, I know you're doing it for my protection because I'm also going on the same aeroplane, right? So I believe, I'm not taking it in a personal level. You are doing it to protect me from somebody who may look like me or may look like you or anyone else, and you are doing it. And then what happened? When it happened to me next time, the moment I will go into that room, I'll start waving on everyone. Hey, this is me. and then and then literally the whole energy changes. The people who are like literally scared of the guy who is in a glass cage, and then suddenly they realize, oh, yes, he's funny, we are funny, so the people start waving. So the whole thing turned into a very pleasant activity. The thing is, like, why, and that experience was really taught me, why do I need to take it personal? Why it's not against me, right?
Exactly.
It's just a system. I mean, so when anything happens, if some, like, when I drive, I stop on a red light, it's not an insult to me, right?
It's a very good comparison.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, because it is my decision to drive a car, right? If it's my decision, then I have to follow the rules. Even if I disagree with those rules, but they are the rules. So one has to follow those rules, and that's how. So one learns, right? When one is young, if you're young, you be agitated on everything.
Yeah.
Like if you go to a coffee shop and the coffee is not right, you think that this is your insult. How come you gave me that's a bad coffee? Come on, drink it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, you're completely right. We have to take responsibility for our actions and take responsibility and fit within the framework in which we live. And this brings us to the next question, because you talk about content and form. In a sense, we are moving in a form, which is rules and regulations. But you also talk about the different content and form for your own art. So tell us, me and my listeners, what is the relationship between these two? And is there a need for a perfect balance of content and form?
I because when my huge body of work that I did is all about that. That body of work is I also do calligraphy, right? So
Nice.
yeah. So that calligraphy, it started with the same idea of form and content.
We have a full episode on calligraphy here in the Conversations of Mother Earth, the philosophy of a brushstroke. It's very, very, very inspiring. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, for me, I am not a huge fan of, maybe I'll offend, some of the listeners, but I have to say that I am not a huge fan of organized religion. And it's because kind of damage that it has done to the humanity. So for me, when religion, the idea of the religion is not that, it was more towards, like, my religion is also towards my relationship with my fellow being, or my neighbor, or whoever is next to me. So if I bring religion bigger than the people, that means that I am somehow, I'm not, if I talk about my, I was born in a Muslim faith, right? So I was born in Muslim family. So in Muslim, so there is one thing is, the content, that all the good preaching that every religion has, that you have to be nice with the people, and there are something which is like, among for your fellow beings. And then the other thing is how to show yourself, like, you need to have a certain kind of beard, you need to pray in a certain way, you need to dress up in a certain way. So this is the form, right? This is the form. So that people can associate you by looking at your attire, by looking at your praying, like huge, like a number of people are moving and doing something in a similar way, and you understand, oh, what is that? And you suddenly realize, oh, these are Muslim people are praying to God. So it's all, so you don't know the content of it. You just, form attracts you, right? So what happens over the time, in most of the religion, people hold on to the form and they forget about the content.
Yes.
So what happens in Muslim homes, Muslim homes, they love to have beautiful calligraphy from the holy book, and they have those paintings in their houses, which are beautiful calligraphy, and it's all the things are written from the holy book. And the person who cannot read it, for you, is just a beautiful calligraphy, right? And the people who can read Arabic, is most of the time is in Arabic. The people who read Arabic, they can understand, oh, it's the God is saying this to you and to that. So what I did, I took the form of it, and I wrote abusive words and abusive language in the same form. People who cannot read it, to them it seems like a very sacred, a form. But people who can read it, they immediately know, damn, is something abusive, right? So the idea is to the content is as important as the form. If there is no, if you lose the content of it, then form is just just something beautiful,
Yeah.
nothing else,
Yeah.
nothing else. So I that, and I guess that's very important always. Like, no matter what you do, you need to understand the content of it.
The
Yeah,
substance of it, the inside
yeah,
of it, in a sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really a lot of food for thought. I think I will reflect on that for the rest of my day. It's very, very interesting because I like the essence of the organized religion. The love is that when that is a content from the inside that is beautiful, but we keep the form more than anything else these days. This is unfortunately the problem.
Yeah, and form is something which is so temporary.
Yes.
If a form is so temporary, and that is the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. So if you try to preserve the form, then you are taking that beauty out of it.
Yes, yes, yes. It's linked with my next question because change is part of life. We have also reinventing ourselves, the episode exactly on that. How do we go with life and flow with life? And Mother Earth is a perfect example of a constant change because she constantly changes canyons and mountains and stones. And when I look in, for example, in my home country of Croatia, when you walk along the coast, all these stones have been shaped. Mother Earth continues to shape them every day with waves. It's a constant change. Mother Earth is also a very patient sculptor, in my personal opinion. So, how important is patience for your work?
No, I think Mother Earth. I don't know whether it's I would call it a patience or not. I think Mother Earth is respond to whatever we do to it, right? It just accepts it. You just but tie a knot, a wire to a tree. Tree will make that wire part of it, and when tree, whatever, when it rots, it becomes into something else.
Yes.
For us, we think like all the global warming and all this thing is true, that all the life is dying.
Yes.
But it's taking another form. It's changing into something else. And we, because we don't know what that is,
Yeah.
so that's why it's scary for us. It's and I know when they will be, if there are, I mean, if God forbid there are no trees, there are no mountains, there are pollution everywhere, it will even turn into something else, and something else will come out of it. It will be not good for us, we won't be there, but something else will be there.
Yeah.
Right? So it's such a beautiful thing, that everything, whatever you put into it, it makes something out of it.
Yeah.
It's
makes also something out of us when we are not there anymore. It's
not for us. This is the thing. We are, I think this is that's how we got here. That's how we got here, and that's how all of this changes. If there's no change, then you and me are not sitting here thousands of miles apart
Yeah.
talking to the screen. It happens because somebody decided to break the rules. When you break the rules, then something else will happen and something else will take shape. And, it's
Yeah.
not that.
Yes.
So it's going to be different. It's not going to be like this. This is we are not going to be there. Maybe human won't be there. Some other creature will be here. Here means not. I'm not talking about this planet. Like this planet will turn into something else.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We will
Yeah.
see. We will see. Our planet will continue turning with us or without us. That's
With
that
us,
form will stay.
Exactly. Yeah. Or maybe we are the planets who are
Yeah.
turning.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. The cosmos will stay as it is. They won't be affected by us humans. But Mother Earth is also pure life. And can you tell us a little bit more about life? Because the question formed in my mind when I looked at your sculptures. And you create, for example, as you said at the beginning, you create sculptures out of plastic bags, yet you breathe life into them. They're not just plastic bags hanging. When you form the human form, they seem alive. So how do you as artists and sculpture breathe life into your work?
It's very interesting because when I do that kind of a work, which is very like figurative, like whatever I do. So in my studio, it's very interesting when I'm working in my studio, and whatever I do, I have to feel that in me, right? So most of the time, if I'm making something and I have to sit in that posture, I don't use model, I don't use drawings, I just use my imagination or a mirror, because I love to look at myself because the posture that I'm making. So when I feel that posture in me, then it's very easy because I know that, when you're looking at a model who's sitting in front of you, then you're looking at something which is outside you. So, but when you're making something which somehow lives in you, then it's so much fun to bring that person out of your body.
Fascinating.
So it's very, one time I was working towards a show and I was in my studio and I was making, several sculpture. So in that corner, I will sit and I will stand and I will feel that, and then okay, this is right, and then I'll make it. And after several days, or I guess a few weeks, when I realized that many of sculpture has been created, I literally had that feeling that I am shredding my skin. It's just I was there, and then
Layers.
my some kind of a form which is very not very clear, floss like me, which is and it's there, and then it's there, and it's there. It's like so it's really fun. It's really fun. And it, yeah, it's very important. Even if I remember when in school, when I used to draw, I have to feel that model. You need to, it's not like you can't, you need to know the person. You need to know that you're making a person who's like you, who breathes, who has feelings. Then you can look at through the anatomy, anatomical details in a very different way.
Khalil, the art is a part of society, or should be a part of a society. Art is very often an expression of the society. Is that what your art is also part of, or what is the role of art in a society?
You know, I personally think that role of art is, I have a responsibility of my art. Job of my art is to turn me into a better person. I don't understand of the, like my art will change the society. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I know, I'm not saying it's not, people, a lot of people are, like intelligent enough and really, who maybe has the ability to change the society. But I think if my work can make me a better person, then my society will become better, slightly better, because there is one person who is better in this society.
Yes,
I think
you inspire somebody
biggest,
else. Yeah.
So I think because this is the only person who is in my control, right? No one else.
Yeah.
So if I can able to change this person, I think my job is done. You need to take rest.
Yes, I will. I have to. I also have a lecture today, so not much.
Oh wow.
Yeah, not much work to do. We are at the end of the semester, and I can't do much about that anymore. So, Khalil, a truly fascinating conversation. Very interesting what you're doing, your views, and on world and your art. I'm sure my listeners are very curious about you now. Where can they find you? And this is a question for myself. Where is your next exhibition, or are you maybe at the next year's Documenta in Kassel in Germany?
I think I need to ask that question to people, to organizers of Documenta, that why I'm not there.
I have to talk to them.
But again, this is not my job, or this is not my duty to make me sort of seen everywhere. Even I was told that my website is broken for last couple of months, but the best way is to Google me. And I have a show in India in February next year. So that's one thing, and I'm also working in my studio, and my couple of other assignments that I'm right now focused on. But hopefully next year Documenta or after that.
Yeah, I studied in Kassel, and I have been following every 5 years. I have to make sure that I'm somehow in Kassel to see the Documenta. It's truly an incredible exhibition. It would be really nice to see you there.
Oh yeah, that's one day.
Yes, future, maybe in the future, maybe the one after that, 5 years later. Thank you so much for joining today. Wonderful conversation, Khalil.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to express myself.
Very inspiring thoughts you have. I'm sure my listeners are inspired today as well, and we got a lot of food for thought after today.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It's just a great conversation. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Very, very welcome. This concludes today's conversation. Dear listeners, I hope that today's episode has shown you that art is all around us, and that we too are sculptors as we patiently fill our individual lives with meaningful content and ultimately shape it into the form we envision for our lives. Next week, we will energize you. Stay tuned.